Welcome back to the channel. So today, doing a bit of a rewire on the BSA. Had a couple of issues with idle charging and a misfire on part load. So we're back on the AML Mark II carburetor. We've got that jetted up. Didn't get any footage of that, but that's set up and the cold start circuit now works, which it never did when I very first fitted this 2 or 3 years ago. But I've had some issues. I was running a Boyer power box that wasn't giving what I needed. It was sitting down 12 volts and declining on idle. Just not very efficient. It's only a single phase alternator, but the winding all checks out, air gap all checks out on the alternator. So I think the power box is just a little bit tired. And it was also originally fitted with a Boyer Mark III ignition kit, which is not very good for idle stabilisation, which high comp unit single really needs. And the magnets aren't all that great in the pickup. So there's a test for that. So if you take the end of the magnet on a screwdriver or a piece of steel, it should be able to support its own weight, which the old pickup plate can't do. So I've upgraded the Boyer power box to this, which is the Payson MOSFET 20 amp unit. They're quite pricey, but yeah, supposedly very good, very efficient, and on scope the output is very, very smooth, so no boiling batteries or causing any issues there. Good stable voltage, which the ignition system needs. Also got rid of a lot of the wiring. It was massively overcomplicated, and within this area behind the battery tray I had a like a mesh cradle. In fact, I'll grab that now. Had this unit, which was sat up in there, with loads of stuff bolted to it, bolted to the bottom of the tray. This power box, which was the Rectifier, which is huge. So got rid of that. And the old coil, which was an original Lucas 17M12. These you generally see. It's an original Lucas one. Still checks out on resistance, but you never know. Could be temperature breakdown. They're supposedly oil filled, so you never know. So yeah, moved on to the Payson unit. Rewired the horn, so that's going to mount up here, out the way, and I've got, looks a little bit of a mess, but it will be tidy. I've got brackets and stuff that have been made up. New ignition coil, that's the Boyer micro power coil. Supposedly extremely efficient, requires very little power, and the brains of it all, it's the micro power digital ignition system from Boyer. This is the top best thing that they supply, or most premium in their system. I've gone back and forth with Payson, Tri-Spark, and then the Boyer digital, and I settled on the Boyer. It's definitely less, well, significantly less than the Payson digital ignition kit, and it's also less than the Tri-Spark unit. Now, whether that's predominantly driven by quality of components or just import duty, I can't say. I have never run with it, but for the most part, other people I've spoken to who have used Boyer units haven't had too much of a drama. The early Mark III is known for its issues. The Mark IV is not. It's not that great. It's the same linear advance curve, so you will always find a spot in there where it's not quite 100%. So I'm hoping running with the digital unit will make things a lot better. So let's see. So made up this little bracket. I've already bolted the rectifier in. That's done. So getting rid of that big plate. I've got this mount up here, and I have the coil mounted off what were the original airbox mounts. I've made a slot in the bottom of the battery tray, which is somewhere here. Let's put it down somewhere. Where's the battery tray? Ah, there it is. So yeah, there's my battery tray. Original BSA Triumph unit. It's had many holes and modifications, but latest modification is a reasonably neat tray for the boiler unit to slide into. So hopefully that's going to work out. The tray is rubber mounted, so that should stop too much vibration killing the ignition unit. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to crack on and get this fitted. So I won't be really talking through this, but I'll speed it up and you can watch. I've got to bolt some things in basically. I've done the wiring. I didn't have a chance to film that. My SD card was corrupted. I was waiting for a new one to turn up. So yeah, keep watching. there we are. So, a quick fire assembly, but essentially, yeah, my ignition module fits. It's in there. Probably need a cable tie behind that just to stop it backing out, but that we can deal with. It's not going to go anywhere really. The battery tray's in, that's good and firm. So these are the feeds in from the rectifier. Positive, negative, it's positive earth bike, and then feed over to the ignition switch here via fuse, straight over, and there's the ground for pretty much everything except for the horn. It's the general bike ground, so this combines for the coil and for just to feed the bike, plus some other things are grounded to the frame. But for all intents and purposes, that's it. So coils connected in, ignition modules connected, the regulator rectifier should I say, connected. Horn is now in its new location, doesn't foul on anything, is also rubber mounted. Yeah, refit the battery strap. Next video I'll be doing the ignition timing. So fine TDC, set to, should be 28 degrees. I think we'll be running probably a little bit more advanced, probably go 29. Waiting for a general consensus off the forum for that. With modern fuels you want to run a little bit more advanced because it takes a little bit longer to burn with such a high ethanol content. So it kind of makes sense, otherwise you're starving yourself of power. Older fuels used to burn hotter and faster, so yeah, a little bit more advanced would probably be beneficial. All that road racing, you know, tearing up the neighbourhood. But yeah, thank you for watching. Don't know how interesting that was, it was only really bolting a few bits on. But yeah, I've got next video I've got to fit the battery, I've got to put the terminals on for the pickup and set the ignition timer like I say. So I've got the rotor loosely fitted at the moment, that needs setting with the stator plate, and then we'll strobe it up, show that. Trying to think what else there is to do. Yeah, ignition timing, strobe it, so refit the battery tray. Oh, and drop the bowl off the carburetor and reset the flow tight on this assembly of the carburetor. It's just not quite right. It's a little bit overfilling, flooding out a little bit. But yeah, thank you for watching, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one.